What's up, everybody? What's going on? Headless Horde. Ahsoka, episode 5 in like 90 minutes. Let's go. All right, we're breaking down everything. We're talking about rumors. I'll give you some predictions. Dude, I'm pumped. I can't wait. Looking forward to this all day again. I actually have been looking forward to this since Thursday last week. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one. I think we're gonna get a lot of Anakin. I mean, I know that for sure. We're definitely gonna be getting Anakin today, and we're probably gonna get a lot of Jar Jar empty. So you are definitely going to be in the win for that one. What's up, one out, everybody in the chat? What's up, Blaze? What's up, Charles? How you doing, brother? And umpty scratches in the house. Got 9 of you guys watching. Let's go. So here's what I'm thinking, man. I don't know how long we're gonna be on live. I'm so excited. I just want this thing to drop. It's 50 minutes. It's gonna be a long one. 50 minutes. We finally got some long Ahsoka or some long Star Wars, television series, because everything is so short all the time. So this will be one of the long ones, and I'm going to start from the beginning. So we just saw in the last episode, obviously spoilers in this live tonight. So we saw Ahsoka wake up in the world between worlds after, we assume that Baylan killed her. So I don't think she's dead. It's the Ahsoka series. I highly doubt she's dead. And there's a couple rumors out there about this. So my initial thought is that I thought she got killed, and this is how she showed up in the world between worlds. Now, we've never seen it like this before. If you watch Star Wars Rebels, even if you haven't, I'll explain. In the world between worlds, Palpatine actually tried to get in, but he was unable to. The only person that's ever been in the world between worlds was was Ezra, and that is because he figured out how to open the portal on Lothal, which is his home planet. And this is also where the Jedi Temple was. Ahsoka ended up coming into the world between worlds because Ezra went back and saw where we all thought she died in the battle between her and Darth Vader. And so Ezra basically pulled her out of that scenario and saved her life. I always found this really interesting about that episode. We see Vader, later on. And again, obviously Rebels was created way, way after George Lucas's, original trilogy. But what I always found interesting is that we get no mention whatsoever from Vader about wait, did Ahsoka just disappear? It's really strange. I was kind of hoping we would have saw something in the Kenobi series that would have addressed this, but we never did. Because it is interesting, because Ahsoka gets pulled out, and I don't know what Vader thinks in his head. Wait a minute, where did she just go? This whole cave is crashing down on me, and it's just kind of strange. But anyways, so Ezra pulls Ahsoka out, and then they kind of go in, and they're kind of fighting the Emperor in the world between worlds, but the Emperor is only able to shoot his Force lightning through the portal that they're looking at him at. So the reason why the Emperor, why Palpatine wanted to get access to this, because he knows he could probably affect the future. He would be able to go in and see, oh, look at this. Vader's going to turn on me and kill me. So this is why the Emperor wanted to get access to this, but he's not able to. And what I believe is that he was not able to get access to it because he was not dead. So I think Ezra is kind of a special case because he was able to open this portal. The reason why Ahsoka ends up becoming part of the world between worlds is because Ezra pulls her out. So we see Anakin at the end of episode 4, and we see Ahsoka then wake up in the world between worlds. So here's my thoughts on this. I dropped a video a couple days ago. I think it was back on Saturday. I dropped a video on this, and what I think is if we go back to the Mortis arc in the Clone Wars, this is the arc where we see Obi-Wan and we see Anakin and we see Ahsoka coming to this planet of Mortis. Force out of nowhere. Like they were not expecting to be there. So they go down on this planet and they meet the father, the son, and the daughter. And the explanation that's given to us is they're kind of like these Force gods. And we have the father, who's kind of the balance between the light and the dark. And then on top of that, we also have the daughter, who kind of signifies the light side. And then we have the son, who is the dark side. And what ends up happening in the episode, I mean, there's quite a bit, but for the general gist of this is the son wants to take over for the father. The problem is the father, I think they kind of, you kind of assume that like they kind of summoned them here because he knows that Anakin Skywalker has a ton of different, like a ton of power. You know, go back to the old midichlorian thing and all that. So he knows that Anakin is very powerful. And he wants Anakin to basically take over for him. He's been doing this for X amount of years, right? And he wants Anakin to take over his position on Mortis. And again, this is kind of why we always hear he will bring the balance to the Force. Qui-Gon says it. You know, Obi-Wan starts saying it. So basically, that's kind of what happens in the Mortis arc. Well, the son gets somewhat jealous because he wants to take over, and that's the dark side of him kind of coming into play. Where the daughter said, "No, we're gonna allow Anakin to do this." Well, Anakin didn't want to do it. He didn't want that. He didn't want that responsibility. So the father ends up actually like almost killing himself, but it is because of the son. The son basically says, like, if you don't do it, this is what's going to happen. So we kind of see that the father actually stabs himself, and then the son comes over, and then we see Anakin actually kill the son. Before all that happened, though, Ahsoka ends up getting killed by the son, and then the daughter sacrifices herself and gives Ahsoka her essence. So in reality, the way this is working is that Ahsoka actually has the essence of the daughter, which is the light. Anakin said he did not want to be the father, which would be the balance of the Force, and he ends up killing the son, who was trying to take over. So the father and son and daughter have all died at this point. If we fast forward to Ahsoka, or I'm sorry, if we fast forward to Rebels, the father, son, and daughter are on this mural that allows Azra to come into this world between worlds. So the way I'm reading all this, and it is super confusing. Like, I have seen the Mortis arc, and I've seen these episodes on Rebels many, many times. It is very confusing. So where I think we're at right now is that when we see Anakin, we see him as not a Force ghost. We see him with his mechanical hand. We see him with his lightsaber on his hilt. If you go back to Return of the Jedi, when they re-edited that with Hayden Christensen, he doesn't have any of that. He's glowing. He's got Jedi robes on, no hilts, no mechanical hands. So basically what I think is, I believe that Anakin right now is in the world between worlds. And think of it almost like it's in between, you know, they call it in between time and space. I think that this is where Jedi can go to be able to communicate with other dead Jedi. So this is why I do think that Ahsoka is currently dead. Now, is she going to stay dead? No. I have some theories on that. So basically, I think Anakin is like the new father, because they over and over again, how many times do we hear in the prequels that Anakin, he's the balance of the Force. He's the one who's going to bring balance. Well, what better way to bring balance to the Force than becoming the father, since the father is dead? So I think that's what Anakin is doing in the world between worlds. I know I've seen a ton of rumors. People don't think it's the real Anakin. Why would he have his hilt? Why would he have a mechanical arm? Well, because he's not a Force ghost right now. It's different when you become a Force ghost, because you're the vision of what people in the outside world are seeing. So you're more clear. Think of, like, not to get all religious, but think of like a guardian angel. Guardian angels, all white, glowing. That's kind of what a Force ghost is. It's the same idea. It's the same principle. So I think in the world between worlds, you're not out in the world and you're not dead. What you are is you are just there, and you are there to see dead Jedi. So I think what's going to happen is, and guys, let me know in the comments what you think, because there is a lot here to unravel. We're going to find a lot out tonight, I think. And I just want to say what's going on, Donald Lomax. How you doing, brother? And Duck, what's going on? Captain Kirk is not probably going to make an appearance tonight. That might be episode 6. Yeah, Captain Kirk. I tell you what, man, I was watching that new Star Trek show. I can't get into it, man. I don't like Captain Kirk. Spock is okay, but the new Captain Kirk, I can't do it. I like Chris Pine better. Anyways, so that's kind of where I think we're sitting right now with this episode. So I think what we're going to see is, I think we're going to see that Anakin is going to kind of take Ahsoka on a journey. And I think this is why her acting, Rosario Dawson, I think this is why her acting is a little dry. I think it's supposed to be dry. And I think that this is because you can kind of watch that scene at the end of episode 4, and she does kind of have more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? She definitely has more emotion, and remember, she has not seen Anakin since basically they left before he went off to Palpatine's office and then ended up, turning to the dark side. And so I think, so it's been, gosh, it's been like over at this point 25 years at least. If we kind of do a little bit of math, I mean, it might even be more than that. Actually, it might be more like 35 years, 35 years. So she has not seen him at all, and so I really think what's going to happen is, I think Anakin is going to take her on a journey. We're going to see some amazing scenes from the Clone Wars. The rumor is that we are going to see a younger Ahsoka. So she's going to be looking on with Anakin through these portals, and you're going to see younger versions of these characters, or at least Ahsoka. And I will be very, very interested if Ashley Eckstein will voice her. I know she's not going to be playing her. If you look at IMDb, the actress is the same actress who played young Gamora in, I think it was Endgame. So she's obviously grown up by now because she was kind of a kid back then. But it's the same actress. I'm really curious to see if we hear any talking, because I think it'd be awesome to hear Ashley Eckstein's voice. That's what I'm really, really hoping for. I just have not heard anything about it. So I think that's what we're going to kind of be headed here in this episode. So I think it's going to be, is there going to be a lot of action? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll be curious to see if it's all Anakin and Ahsoka this episode. And remember, this is Dave Filoni directing this episode. So it's not going to be, some random director and he just kind of wrote the script. This is Dave Filoni actually directing. I really think it's going to be Ahsoka and Anakin the entire time. I don't even know if we're going to see anybody else. So again, for me, I believe that Ahsoka is dead. I think that she's going to go on this journey with Anakin, and somehow she's going to wake up. Now, maybe she's technically dead, and maybe someone finds her in the water over the cliff that she had fell off of, and maybe they're doing mouth to mouth, and they end up, reviving her. Yeah, it's a little bit cheesy, I think, but I have a feeling that it could go that way, because I don't know how else she would come back to life, unless they really do dive deep into this Mortis arc with that daughter essence being in her, allowing her to survive yet again. Because if she is dead right now, this is actually the third time that Ahsoka has died, because she died on Mortis, and then the daughter saved her, and then she also died to Vader in Rebels, and Ahsoka saved her. So this is technically her third time. So I'll be curious to see how she actually comes back into the show. So that's kind of where I'm sitting with this episode. The early rumor, really, like, this is like over a year ago. A rumor was that we are going to see Ahsoka fight Anakin on Mustafar. I'm hearing from everybody that's talking about this, I guess they have cut that scene. And I don't know if it's because the rumor was let out. I don't know if they didn't like it in post-production and it just didn't fit to what they wanted. And because I know in that scene, we're supposed to see like a dead Obi-Wan Kenobi. and Ahsoka and Anakin are actually doing the fight. It's interesting. I mean, it sounds epic to me. Like but the other thing is that I'm really, really interested in to see is that are we going to get some type of explanation, I guess, from Anakin saying it doesn't matter what you would have done, Ahsoka. I was always meant to turn to the dark side. And maybe Anakin had to go through the journey of being that happy-go-lucky kid to that angry teenager into the dark side user that we saw eventually turning into Vader, and then being redeemed by his son. And that is what allowed him to bring the balance to the Force. And now he's acting as like what the father did on the Mortis in the Mortis arc. So that's kind of where I'm sitting right now with this. I just think it's going to be. I just think it's going to be so good. I really, really do. I have high hopes for today's episode. And I think what I'm going to do is I usually go live on Thursdays. I think I'm going to push it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it right after BOP, like at 9:00, because I don't think I can wait 2 days. It's going to be hard not to talk about it tonight. So I think moving forward, I'm going to bump it up to 9 p.m. on Wednesdays instead of waiting the whole 2 days. Imagine going on a road trip, bro. We would be talking Star Wars the whole time, and just when the House of the Dragon comes back out. It's funny. One of the subs has been messaging me. One of my subs here, and he's watching Game of Thrones for the first time, and we just got the season 5 just ended, and he's blowing my phone up. He's like, "Oh, I can't believe they killed him," and I won't even say who, just in case spoilers, but. Honestly, if you haven't seen Game of Thrones yet, you're probably never going to see it. But yeah, he absolutely loved it. Dude, we have like an hour and 11 minutes. Yeah. So some other rumors that I kind of been hearing. So some people keep saying that Anakin is not Anakin. It's some type of manifest of the Night Sisters, of maybe even the son, which I don't know how. Like, well, how do you explain that? I don't know if it's the son. To me, that doesn't make any sense because the son is dead. I mean, yes, I know the father is dead, but it's possible for him to take a place of somebody. And why would Anakin come back and take place of the son? It doesn't really make sense. Like, how is he alive? And that was, like 4 years ago at this point. So that part doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. The other interesting thing is if we don't get any Balon and Shin and that whole group, because remember at the end of the episode they used the ring and they had that amazing scene where they blasted off into to the new galaxy, and I just don't know if we're going to see. I guess if we see any of that, it would be probably the first scene of the episode. I'm not expecting to see anything but Anakin and Ahsoka in this episode. So I don't know. I mean, I would like to get something else. I just feel like with Dave Filoni directing this, think of back to Book of Boba Fett. Which episode was that? Like episode 5, when they kind of started the episode with Boba and all that. And then all of a sudden we will write the Mando and you basically get Mando the rest of the time. So I kind of feel like that's what we're going to be doing. Yeah, I just think it's going to be pretty much Anakin and Ahsoka's going to go through this journey and almost complete her training. And I was saying this last week on Thursday that I really think that Ahsoka is going to end this series coming back to Sabine at that point that we saw in episode 1. I think it was episode 1. Maybe it was episode 2. I can't remember now at this point. But I think that we're going to see Ahsoka the White. She's going to have the staff, and they're kind of explaining how we got to that point in Rebels. I think that's what this whole series is going to be about. It's going to be about Ahsoka's journey to that Ahsoka the White, and then they go off and find Thrawn. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it because Sabine is already gone and she's already gone to the new planet or whatever. But I keep wanting to keep coming back to that scene because there has to be something. There has to be a reason why Dave decided, you know what, we're not going to have Ahsoka in the white, the white cloak and with that staff. There has to be a reason because it doesn't make sense why they didn't. Dude, Aaron Rodgers, man. Dude, so many injuries. Aaron Rodgers, J.K. Dobbins, one of the Browns starting right tackle. They all tore the ACLs. It's crazy. Or Achilles, I think it was. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But, dude, I can't believe the Jets won that game, though. I'll be honest with you. That was crazy. I was not expecting that when Rodgers went out. Dude, Buffalo played like garbage yesterday, though, honestly. Anyways, what else? So I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that? I mean, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, do you think this is what's going to happen? Is Anakin's going to basically show Ahsoka some stuff and be like, doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you would have ever done. That I was still going to always turn to the dark side, and that was what my prophecy was. And then I mean, I don't know what else they would do. Is Ahsoka the White any relation to Gandalf? So Dave Filoni came off and said he keeps mentioning Gandalf, and I know I talked to Ryan last week about this, and I was kind of trying to figure out why the Gandalf what happened to Gandalf that he was able to come back. And I know he kind of explained it, but again, when we're talking a fantasy show like this or sci-fi, guys, people come back all the time. So I don't think there's a real he said similar. He says a similar type of thing, which means to me though then Ahsoka's dead because Gandalf did die. He was just brought back then. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm really, really curious to see what happens here. But and then moving forward through the series, I would imagine that after we get this, Ahsoka kind of comes back. Again, either someone rescues her from the water and brings her back to life. Because if that doesn't happen, I don't know how they explain it unless they're really going to go into that Mortis. I just don't know how much he would do that because I feel like people who never watched Clone Wars would be so lost on that. Like a regular viewer who doesn't really know, doesn't watch YouTube, wouldn't have no idea why she was able to come back to life. I don't know how you explain it. So part of me kind of thinks that she'll probably come back from CPR, honestly. Or maybe I'm trying to think of a force healer. I mean, would it be epic if Luke came back and kind of did like a force heal on her? That would be kind of cool. I mean, I hope we get Luke. I don't think we're going to. What's YouTube? Yeah, Empty says, I think someone in the series is going to carry over into the Skeleton Crew. Yeah, I heard like Ezra might be in it. I mean, that I'd be all right with that. I mean, I'd be. Maybe she doesn't come back. Man, I don't know. It's the Ahsoka series. I mean, again, if you don't want spoilers for later in the series, if you want to check out for like a couple minutes, because there's a few other things I did hear, and sometimes I hate hearing this stuff, but you always got to take it with a grain of salt because you just don't know what's actually true or not. So one other thing I'm hearing about later in the series is that once they get to this new galaxy and they go and they're going to obviously bring back Thrawn and they're going to bring back Ezra. So one of the rumors is that at the end of the series that Ahsoka is actually going to get stuck in this other galaxy. So everyone returns except for her. And I don't know how I feel about that because then season 2 is these guys going to find Ahsoka then? So it's kind of like the same thing, but we're just going to find a different character. I really hope that's not what they do. But that's one of the rumors right now is that's kind of what they think the series is going to end. I would much rather have it end with her being in the white, in all the white gear and stuff. The problem with it is that we got to figure out a way to get Sabine back and they are in that scene in Rebels. They are going to search for Ezra, so there would almost have to be a little bit of a like time travel or something for that to really work. And that would kind of stink, I guess, if you ended the series with it, because then it's like the whole series was just her getting that spot, and then now we're going to go find Ezra and Thrawn. But we know Thrawn is in it because we saw the trailers. So I don't know. There's a lot they could do. It's just really, what do they want to bring in from the cartoons that a regular viewer is going to understand? That's kind of where we're at right now. So, but let's see here. But it is a one-off thought. It was so it is showing what happens there. Yeah, I get it. Am I Sith or Jedi? I'm one in the middle. I'm like the Bendu. I'm the one in the middle. Is that a cop-out answer? Then I'm a little bit of both, man. I'm like, give me a cross between. I'm like Luke and Balon, if you mesh them together. I don't know. What's red and orange make? Does red and orange make a color? I mean, I'll tell you, like I said, I've said this a couple times. Whenever I use my lightsaber in like Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor, I almost always go orange. I don't know what it is about that orange color that I really, really like. Now, if I look at my lightsabers, I have a red, I have a purple. I mean, a couple of them change colors, but red, purple, blue, green, white. And then I have my Cal Kestis, which it's so weird. It doesn't have yellow. I think it has yellow on it, but it doesn't have orange, which is so strange. So I think I have literally own every color. So yeah, I don't know whatever green and orange make. So figure that out for me. Freddy Vader soon. Yep. Just let me know when you need my shipping address. If someone from the series was definitely Ezra, became part of Skeleton Crew, then it's just a series. Yeah. Yep, I agree. Did I get the saber that's on sale? Is that the Princess Leia one I saw? Is that the one you're talking about? Because I did see that. Yeah, I don't have Leia's saber. If they would have done more with Leia in the and again, Carrie Fisher was how old during Force Awakens? But I mean, she could have at least sported it. I don't know. It's like J.J. Abrams just threw that in at the end just to show something cool, I guess. And then all of a sudden she had her own saber. That's kind of weird. Like Han Solo? No, not really, dude. I'm not a smuggler. A Mandalorian Jedi, I'd be cool with that. Because Boba Fett is still going to be like one of my top 2 or 3 characters that I love, even though the show sucked. Oh, and that's in our room too, actually. I guess we're supposed to see Rex in this. Now, what I heard is that Tamara Morrison will be voicing Rex, and there's a cool rumor about that. I'll tell you in a second. But I think that he is going to be voicing Rex. But when we see Rex, it's helmet on only. And the reason why is that during filming, when they contacted Tamora, they said that he was on the beach. And they have like a video of him actually saying lines for the show. And he's like on the beach. Like, yeah, it's kind of funny. So I think we will see Rex tonight, but I just don't think that we're going to see, Tamora, actually without the helmet on. So we need more Jar Jar. Dude, we never need more Jar Jar. We only need Jar Jar if he's going to end up being the Sith Lord. That's the only way I want Jar Jar back. Sorry. Even though I do have my Funko Pop over here of my Jar Jar. But all right, so we're gonna do a poll. I want to see what you guys are thinking for tonight. All right, so let me pull this bad boy up. All right, so we're gonna go here, and I want to see what you guys think. Simple question. Yes or no? Boom. Do you think Ahsoka is really dead right now? Do you think he is really Jar Jar stormtroopers? Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be all right with that. A bunch of Jar Jar clones. Bro, unsubscribing from my hate of Jar Jar. Come on, bro. Jar Jar just, I don't know. I guess what we need, like, I know there's a book that explains Jar Jar, and he, after Revenge of the Sith, because he's barely in that movie, even though he actually is a really important part of that movie because he makes that decision, or is that in Attack of the Clones? It's one of the two. I can't remember now. I think it's Revenge of the Sith, but Jar Jar makes that declaration of giving Palpatine full control, and like you could put a lot of that on Jar Jar because he was one of the people who had the power to do that. So he did. That's one of the big theories too. I don't know if you guys ever watched it. Just look up Darth Jar Jar on YouTube, dude. There's like an hour video. It is absolutely amazing. Like I don't know if you guys have ever actually went and watched it, but it is straight crazy. Like it makes so much sense. It's such a good video. Such a good video. I've watched that like twice all the way through in the last like maybe 3 years or something. It's really good though. But if if they brought back Jar Jar, it would be all right. I'd be all right with it. They just can't. I just don't want them to be goofy. Like Phantom Menace Jar Jar is just over the top. It's so over the top, and I get it. It's for kids, but it's just it's just so. I have such a hard time watching that movie because it's just so much Jar Jar in it. Like I said, a couple of parts are fine, but overall, it's just so much. It's just too much. All right, so make sure you go vote in that poll because I'm curious to see what you guys say. Is Ahsoka really dead right now? As she wakes up in the world between worlds, is she dead? Is she going to need to be revived? Is she going to need to go through something to come back to life, or is she literally just sleeping? Like that, and that isn't a rumor. Is that she literally is like pass out dreaming? I don't know, man. I don't like that. Like, do we need a whole dream sequence in Star Wars? Like, don't we get that in enough shows? I really hope not. Because I would rather her die and come back. Anthony says sleeping. Dude, if she just got knocked out and she's just sleeping, I think it's a disappointment. I think you could come up with something better than that. Yeah, let's check out the poll real quick here. Would you rather a musical episode? No, only musical episode I like is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Because that episode is probably like one of my favorite episodes of television ever. She's on streak with the rest of Hollywood. Yeah. She dreams of Jar Jar. There you go. No, I don't want any musical episode. But that episode of Buffy is fantastic if you guys never saw it. I think it's called Once More with Feeling. All right, so right now we have 67% of the people say that she is not dead. So 2/3 of you guys. Interesting. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, again, it's here's the biggest problem with like all these predictions and stuff is that there's so many people on YouTube who talk about Star Wars, and everyone's got their own unique turn or unique twist on what they think is happening, and it's hard because like think of all the rumors that we've heard, like even the Mandalorian, like this is going to happen and this is going to be brought in, and then it's not even close to like what we're talking about. You know, I don't know. It's I guess some of it maybe is wishful thinking. There's other things I've heard with Thrawn. So like I don't know that I would have to look up the correct names and how you pronounce it, but I know in Legends, which is which is used to be called the expanded galaxy or expanded universe. So Thrawn in the Era of the Empire novels, so his big thing of joining the Empire was because there was a group of aliens where he was from that wanted to wipe out the I think it's the Chris or is it Giss? I can't remember what it is. Let me look it up. Species on, and I'll look up what in the Legends was. Chiss. Okay, what did I say? Gris. Chiss. So he wanted to protect his species that's called the Chiss, the blue looking guys, whatever. So in Legends, there was a group, so species that wanted species in Legend. So these guys are named the Vigari. That's who it was. So Vigari were pirates and slaves, basically, that were kind of moving throughout the unknown regions. Because remember, Thrawn is from the unknown region, and they were basically raiding weaker species that they encountered. And so this is one reason why they didn't move against the Chiss, because they were stronger people, or a stronger group, but they were in war with these guys, and basically they've taken them out of Legends. And in the new I guess canon Thrawn trilogy, they are called, I want to say they're called species in new Thrawn trilogy, and they're called what? Let's see if I can find the name of it for you guys. They are called, oh my gosh. It's funny too because they even have Batu in those, which is the whatchamacallit on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Why can't I find this? I don't know. You guys know the answer to this question? I don't see anything. Let me find it really quick. I can't believe I can't find this. Yeah, see, it's the Vigari. That's lore. That's Legends, though. I can't believe I can't find this. Well, anyways, if anyone finds it, let me know. If not, it's not like a huge deal. But anyways, so in the new Thrawn novels, there's a different group. In essence, though, it's kind of taking place of the Vigari. So the rumors is that these guys might be in here because, again, this is why Thrawn ended up joining up with the Empire, because they wanted to fight them and attack them. So Thrawn wanted to strengthen his alliance with somebody so he didn't have to worry about that. And, really, it's funny because Thrawn, if you think about it, Thrawn kind of went against he went against Emperor Palpatine a few different times. There's definitely a few times he went against him. And so it's interesting. It's an interesting conflict between that, and it's really unfortunate that we've really never seen it on screen. It's all in the books though. So if you ever get a chance to read the Thrawn trilogy, either one really. I mean, I like Heir of the Empire better. I think it got Luke in it, you got more in it. The Thrawn trilogy, the newer versions, you get more relationship between Thrawn and Vader, Thrawn and Palpatine, which that's kind of cool. Where in Heir of the Empire, you're getting more of that, good versus bad storytelling. So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much that's why Thrawn ended up working for the Empire. Again, they don't really touch upon most of that in Rebels. It's kind of like he's just a Grand Admiral of the fleet, and he has his own idea, and he wants to do this. I think it's called like the TIE Fighter Project or something like that, where he wants to create these TIE Fighter bombers, and that's kind of like what his goal is, and that's what he wants to do, and he thinks that is a better way to attack than using these huge Star Destroyers. So that's kind of what it is. But all right, check the poll one more time. We are at 50-50. Is that what it is? 50-50? Oh, okay. So we got one more vote in. So 55-45. So it looks like it's almost split in half. So we're gonna find out here in less than an hour. So but yeah, I mean, beside that, guys, I don't know if there's anything else that I have. That's pretty much everything I've heard this week. Like I said, I'm really excited for it. I really hope that we get some. I don't want them to throw these characters in just to be so it's cool to see them on screen. I really hope this has a big reason for what they're doing in this episode, especially if they're not going to show like the what ifs. Because originally that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to go to like Mustafar. What if Ahsoka defeated Anakin, or what if Anakin defeated Ahsoka? And it doesn't seem like that's what we're getting tonight. It seems like we're more going to get like a little journey, almost like think of like the Christmas Carol, where you kind of go and see different parts and you're not really changing anything. You're just kind of watching it from an outsider's view, and kind of, maybe he'll be like, how did you not know that I was going to be evil here? Like, how did you not know that? Or how did you not know that this was happening behind your back? I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. We may not find out in an hour. She might stay in the world between. I don't know. There's only 3 episodes left, and we have to get the Thrawn. I mean, they can't not just like. I really hope they don't wait to episode 8. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's possible they ends the episode and she's still in there, and that really is going to drive the internet crazy, because then we still don't know if she's actually dead or not. That would be a good way to get people to watch next week. I'll tell you that, Umpty. It's a good point. It's a good point. But all right, guys. Well, I will be back tomorrow. We're going to be back at 9:00, and we'll be breaking down tonight's episode. So, like I said, I'm going to move those Thursdays in 7:30. I don't love that time during the week, so I'm gonna move it back to 9:00 tomorrow, right after BOP, and we'll be talking about this thing and breaking it down. And yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, we're 45 minutes away, so I'm gonna go get a little snack. I'm gonna get in our water, and I'm gonna enjoy this. So hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, and I'll talk to you guys then tomorrow, and then yeah, we'll see. And if you by chance are going to NYCC, don't forget that on Thursday those the Funko thing happens where you can try to get into the lottery, so you can go to the booth. So if anybody is in the chat is going to be going to New York Comic Con, that is on Thursday. So, all right, guys, I'm out. Enjoy the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in for a little bit. I appreciate it. And like always, don't forget, keep those heads on, and I will see you guys in the next video.